Welcome back to the Marvel Movie Minute, a daily podcast which we disassemble a film from the Marvel Cinematic Universe into 1 minute segments and then examine it in obsessive and occasionally hilarious detail. I'm Kyle Olson from the Swashbuckling Ladies Debate Society podcast.
Hey, and I'm Rob Cabasco and Kyle.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so in a previous minute, when I believe when Justin Hammer was bringing out his potpourri of death weapons.
Yes.
And we had talked about
Cornucopia of Pain.
Cornucopia of Pain. That might be the title. So we were talking about one gun in particular. It's the M134 minigun.
Old Painless.
We've talked about the movies, Predator, Terminator 2. I think it's in the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Furious 7, The Rock. I destroys much stuff.
That's right.
Here's the one thing, I don't know if we mentioned this, but okay, suspend your disbelief on all this. That gun has two requirements that are just not addressed in most times it is used in movies. The one is obvious. Ammunition.
Yes.
And it's copious amounts of ammunition.
Yes.
Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing it requires is power. It doesn't run on a crank.
No.
Its forefathers were run on a crank.
Right.
But that gun requires of an external power source. It requires a boatload of ammunition. When it's used in movies, it usually shows neither of those.
Right.
That plays particularly into the minute we are about to discuss.
Yeah. Because here we are at minute 98 of Iron Man 2 from 2010, directed by Jon Favreau. There's a lot of bullets a-flying, and your grasp of physics may vary as we go along here.
Grasps of the real dimensions and everything doesn't. It's fine.
So we pick up where we left off, which is the middle of the mid-air chase. So War Machine has been taken over by Whiplash, and so we have poor Rhodey is just along for the ride, and then the Air Force are behind him, and they're chasing Iron Man through the sky. So Iron Man is talking to Jarvis, and he says, "Jarvis, break," and then that's where the Iron Man ended. So now we pick up with that sentence, which is in. It says, "Jarvis, break in. I need to own him." And so I like when they show actually the display. Then as he's talking to him, you actually can see a small wireframe readout of War Machine. Like he's actually scanning stuff too. So one of the things that I like, even though it's probably just my own headcanon, is why he's able to dodge this that easily is because he knows where the gun is being aimed. Because his systems are so advanced, he can see where the gun is being aimed and to know to not be in front of it.
Well, and also, and don't forget that it's the Mark 6 suit. It's being powered by an all-new, ultra-powerful arc reactor. You know what I mean? Like, all the stuff. I mean, it is just better technology on every level. So, all that's plausible. I mean, I've totally understood. So.
Yeah, so it's sort of like the War Machine armor has whatever existing stuff that the Air Force could get off of a plane, like whatever that they had, plus hammer tech, which we know even Ivan said, "Software is shit."
Yeah.
So we have the hammers, janky technology, and then whatever Ivan put into it. So actually, as a remote though, it's working pretty well. In fact, I gotta say, Hammer must have some really good ISP because there's no lag.
Oh,
it's great. Like he's getting full. This is 2010. He's got full streaming video, and he's actually running. My God, was it a T1 line back then? This is great throughput.
Well, when we do see though what he's seeing, it's like a CCT, like a closed circuit television. Yeah. So I'm glad that they did show that. Yeah, there is some believability in that, but
he's not doing like a full
HD
motion capture or he's in a wireframe suit and he's doing none of that kind of stuff. He is still typing on a keyboard.
Right.
So Tony says, "I need to own him." Jarvis says, "Yes, sir." And then Rhodey's like, Tony, I'm locked on. I have target lock." Tony says, "On what?" Rhodey says, "On you." It's like, really? What did you think he was talking about? We're in the middle of a chase. You get that, right?
I know.
My suit's trying to kill your suit.
Well, a lot has been going on
A lot has been. Yeah, it's true. Like, I mean, it's
Plus,
you know,
well, you know what,
Tony's thinking about 5 things at once.
Well, not only
where's
that,
Pepper is big on his mind.
And you know, we haven't, and it doesn't really address this, but if you think about it in terms of the character, you would have to think he's still on this crazy adrenaline rush of this new element in his body.
True.
Right?
He probably feels better right now than he has in like the last year.
Right. Which would make you think that he's gonna overreach, but
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. He's like the testosterone is a flowing.
Oh yeah, pretty much.
So then he opens up with old Painless and starts to figure out, and so we have a lot of really great shots. Like there's that really great shot where you can see them over the entire Sark Expo, like from top to bottom. It's gorgeous. And then as swoop down, then you see him swooping by, running around the side and flying through the into the building and stuff too, which doesn't seem like the best idea.
Yeah,
when you got someone shooting a lot of bullets, you don't want to bring them closer to the people.
So here's a couple issues. Well, one, and this is not an issue. One of the things I really do love is that we get this aerial shot that is reminiscent of the model and the whole purpose of how we even got here in the movie.
True.
So that's kind of neat to see that, and you see just enough where you can make out that, oh yeah, here's the arc reactor, the element, the inspiration, and everything. You're seeing it in for real.
From this angle, you can almost see the solution to the riddle of his heart.
Oh, good Lord. And you know what that is. I got to tell you this. I'm not kidding. You can actually still see the Kodak Pavilion even from this. That's true. Because you can see the big yellow with the red thing in the middle. That's Kodak. That's right. So there we got that. Okay, so then
product placement.
Wonderful. Okay, we have this. You know, it's just goes beyond saying that the detail of this and seeing the gun activate, and they've got all this stuff going on, the way that the ammunition looks with sort of like tracer tails and Tony, and then when the whole disorientation of seeing the ground and that Stark Expo area come into play. Here's the deal. Let me remind everyone in case you forgot. The M134, it can put out about 6,000 rounds per minute. Granted, you need like a truckload of ammunition, but whatever.
Yeah.
Let's just say it's putting out 50 to 100 bullets per second. They're about 1,500 to 2,000 feet in the air. All those bullets are hitting the ground. That's a lot of bullets.
That's a lot of bullets to account for.
That's a lot of death.
Yeah.
I just want to say,
stray bullets. It's a real thing.
When, I've never, and again, how many times I've watched this movie, and I'm always at this point, I'm just like, whoa, this is so crazy. And this time when I watched it, I went, it's a lot of people who are dead just now.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's always has sort of bothered me about the War Machine armor. Like, of all of the high-tech stuff we have, why does he have, like, basically what's an old-fashioned bullet-slinging cannon on there? Like, what is War Machine going to fight that will be vulnerable to bullets?
It's just cool. It looks cool, which is all why it's in the movies.
And they're being authentic. Like that is how the comic was done, because this was during the very, very aggro, aggressively male 90s in the comics, where it was all about, like, you should see the Punisher from this period, because it's like the amount of huge weapons he's carrying is ridiculous. And so this was the era of like War Machine and Punisher and Venom and Spawn. I mean, like, it was like even Spawn carried like massive cannons. Like, this was just very like 13-year-old boys running the industry kind of time. So this is right out of that.
No, but you brought up a great point. So Tony is leading them back towards the pavilion.
Yes,
for a reason that is about to be revealed.
Yeah,
was that a mistake?
In terms of Tony making a mistake, or you think like a continuity mistake?
No, Tony, like,
it seems like a bad plan to me. Like, it's a great shot. Like, they come swooping down and they swoop around, and then like we follow, the camera's following them, and it follows them into the pavilion, and we see then the drones are on the move. Like, it's a great thing of like, oh, that's right. It's not just the ones that flew up into the air. It's also all of the other ones he has to account for too. So that we get to shot of them, and it's great. But yeah, at the same time, why are you bringing the bullet slinging monster closer to where all the people are? Like, you could probably fly up, like you did with Ironmonger. Like, I doubt that the hammer drones are equipped for space. Like, why not do that?
it just seems like, well, and plus what we're about to talk about, which is the callback from the previous minute.
Yeah.
It's a bad move.
It's a bad move.
It was a mistake. It was really bad, Tony. You immediately I mean, maybe what he's thinking is, I got to go back because I still got to make sure Pepper's okay.
And
there's other drones and there's
Let's
other
hope
things.
That's the case. I think it's more like I need things to maneuver around so that he can't shoot me.
Oh, that's really bad.
Yeah, that's really bad. It's really bad.
No, wait, I want to tell you, like, this
almost as bad as Superman taking a fight into a heavily populated area because it might give the bad guy a headache. Almost as bad.
Okay, that's
as bad.
That's another show. Let me say something. This is one of definitely the moments, and we've talked about a few of them.
Yeah.
I've never really spent a lot of time thinking about this, but then I did on this. I'm a little bothered by this in the movie.
Yeah.
Because it really, I mean, again, and we'll get into, like, why was that scene, that push zoom, that quick zoom into the observation deck important?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because right here we get to have Iron Man flies in front of that observation deck, and all the windows get shot out, and those people are dead. Like,
okay.
Like, the amount of bullets just in those 5 seconds to shatter all those windows, the bullet doesn't stop. Okay, like, I don't think they don't know this. When a bullet hits a window, it doesn't then just drop to the ground because it's expelled all its energy. No, it keeps going. And behind those windows are a lot of meat.
Wait, I just want to tell you this, because here's something I've never noticed before. The bullet holes, and you can't, the bullet is not the same size as the hole, I get that. Right. But these bullet holes are big, and they're big, obviously, as you can see them, but okay, these are massive. Like, this will kill you. You get hit by one of the bullets that comes through this window, you're dead. Okay, so as it pans, and all the windows are getting shot out, people are running, there is a guy, and I'm going frame by frame, there is a guy who's, like, trying to, like, get away, and he's got his hand up, and then there comes a moment that he just drops. He's dead. He's dead. Like, I think it may be the only confirmed death, I think, in this sequence. Wow. That dude's dead. And it's animated in a way that, if you actually go by it frame by frame, he drops. But okay, one thing I just want to note about this whole sequence that I think is amazing, that they felt the need to do this. Yeah. The viewing scope.
Oh, right.
So there's so I don't even know what these are called.
Old-fashioned, yeah.
It's an old-fashioned, like, national parks, our national parks here in the United States, other places around the world have them. The little viewing scopes that you can use to, like, see things close up, like they're basically like industrial binoculars that are on a stand. Okay. Is that there simply did they just say to themselves, we have to put that in all these shots so that the audience who's totally has no spatial awareness, has no understanding of where anything is, that's the landmark for them to know, oh, that's the thing from 30 seconds ago. Is that why that's there?
I think so. I think because it helps orientate to that.
Okay, but what an odd thing, like, and especially because it looks like something, and maybe the connection here, the art direction is that, well, the Art Stark Expo in the 70s, that's something that you would think of from a previous time. I don't know if there was a reason for that, which, by the way, in case you didn't know this, if you'd like to get your own National Parks viewing scope, because your palatial estate has landmarks around it that you'd like to see.
It's really hard for me to see at the far end of my property. So do you have something that could help me with that?
Well, yeah, I do. The good folks at Hammacher Schlemmer, which is the high end. Like, they always have the most ridiculous stuff. They sell these for the low price of $4,000 US.
Oh, did you still have to put coins in them?
I think so. But you get the key.
Oh, you get the key too. Okay, good. So there's not a guy that just comes to your house once a week to empty them out.
Do you know how much that made me laugh? Like, wait, you could buy your own viewing scope? Like, for what? Anyway.
Wow, rich people.
But neat detail, though. I think that's a neat little. I think it's neat when you see decisions that are obviously for landmarks for the audience, so that they can connect and say, "Oh, okay, this was that part there," because things are happening very fast.
Yeah,
that helps.
If only they'd known that they could just press a couple buttons and it could turn into a flying saucer.
That is what they're in. They're in the exact Men in Black.
Yes, that is actually one of the ships that Edgar tries to take and fly home.
Oh, that's
for Men in Black. Yeah.
Oh, there we go. All right, more death. but more death.
More death. So Rhodey then concludes as he's yelling, "Tony, on your 6." But then we cut to back on the ground. Justin is now backstage, so he is running to go and to try and figure out what's going on. And he says, "What's going on? What's happening?" And we see Jack is there, his sidekick essentially, and so he's on the phone trying to figure out what's going on. And so now, and we also see a new person. He's just credited as technician, so we don't actually know what his thing is. But so this actor is Brian Schaefer. He has 9 credits on IMDb, and you're like, oh, just only 9 credits? It's like, yeah, but let's see. Some of those 9 credits are, let's see, this obviously, Iron Man 3, Captain America: Civil War, Spider-Man: Homecoming, and Avengers: Infinity War. So you're thinking like, wow, like, so Rob, what do those movies all have in common in the MCU? Iron Man 3, Captain America: Civil War, Spider-Man: Homecoming, Avengers: Infinity War, and obviously then here Iron Man 2.
Well, appearances by Tony Stark, like appearances by Iron Man.
Exactly, Mr. Robert Downey Jr., because this is Robert Downey Jr.'s stand-in.
No.
Yes, Brian Schaefer is Robert Downey Jr. So when they need to have lighting and all that kind of stuff, this is the guy they set up with. So like when they're doing the first, in that first shot of like him walking around on stage in a tuxedo, Brian Schaefer was the guy in the tuxedo walking around on stage doing that stuff to get timing and lighting and all that stuff right, because the star's time is really, really valuable. And so like they have stand-ins to do this kind of stuff to get the thing, because they need to have somebody who is an actor who can do the kind of stuff, looks basically have the same build, the same height, the same sort of look, so that they can do lighting and camera work and stuff too and make it good. So when the star shows up, that they can just actually get on with the work of acting and not have to worry about all the other technical stuff they have to do. So yes, he is Robert Downey Jr. stand-in, and has been in not only these, but almost all of Robert Downey Jr.'s movies. Like he was in the Jurist, or the Judge.
Wow.
The Judge. Yeah, so this is Brian Schaefer. So yeah, so he's like, it's a pretty good gig.
Well,
and so and he gets to do this stuff like this, and every one of those movies they find a little thing for him to do. So he's been a Hydra soldier, he's been a SHIELD agent,
okay.
he's been like, just they find a little thing for him to do in every one of those movies.
Well, so wait. So if he's been on non-Marvel projects with Robert Downey Jr.
Yes.
Are they buds? Like, what's the?
Yeah, I couldn't find any them. Like, I found a couple pictures of them like in the same outfit, like putting their arms around each other and stuff too. But I couldn't find any like where the interviews where they talk about it. And maybe they're out there. I just say like my research didn't find anything of like him talking about it. In the same way that you can find interviews with Scarlett Johansson talking about how much she likes Heidi Moneymaker. Because that's her stunt double. They met on this movie, and and she has talked about her in numerous things. I couldn't find anything of like Robert Jr. saying like how much Brian has done for him and how much they're he likes having him on set, that kind of stuff. That stuff could be out there. I just couldn't find it in my research and stuff too. But yeah, he's like the go-to guy.
Interesting.
Yeah. Right. Isn't that fun?
So, okay, that's amazing. Now, let's talk about something for a second. All right, so when this is all happening, there is, by the way, a transitionary shot where we get another one of those push zooms where we go back inside the main pavilion and we see the army drones now exiting the stage, right? They're on the move.
Yeah.
And again, it's another one of those little push, like a cameraman's doing it. It's like moving and then push zooming in to see them coming off the stage. Crowd is running away. Okay, now I love a couple things about this. So we cut to this backstage shot, and one thing that's really cool is, and I couldn't find if this is actually the backstage of the stage they were using, because the whole right side of the screen you can see the backside of these RGB LED matrix panel grids. Yeah. This is exactly what they're using. So when you see the stage stuff, and we've talked about the beautiful graphics they've put on the back of the stage, like anything, like Apple does, Microsoft, Google. What these are is they're not like TV screens like we have or monitors or anything like that. There are these RGB LED grids, and the grids have LEDs that are much bigger. They're almost like the LEDs you normally would think of in like displays, control panels and stuff. And they're usually set up maybe like 32 by 32, because a screen that big, like something in a soccer or football stadium, it doesn't have to be 4K. Because you're seeing it from 1,000 feet away, right? So the pixels can be much bigger, and they can be spaced apart. And the reason why I bring this up is, one, That's cool that that's there. And honestly, that looks exactly like what the back of that stage would look like.
Yeah.
So I almost think it's the same place.
They don't talk about it in the commentary, but I would think it is too, because that was all a set.
No, like, that's a legitimate set. I mean,
like, from when we see them from the front, like all the walking around on thing, that is a set that they built. So I would imagine they just continue the set out to do in the back.
Well, and
they did a lot of good set dressing, which we're going to talk about.
Well, no, absolutely. And again, I just think this is cool to see this, because this gives people a little bit of an understanding of what goes on behind the scenes. One of the neat things about the scene is that you see them, all the people in this backstage area, they're all lit, and it's almost like they're lit from what looks like a gel, or like I forget what they're called, when there's a design, right? Like a pattern. Well, that's how those grids actually work. Those grids are they're not transparent, they're translucent. They're spacing between the LEDs, and this is exactly how they work. And you and I we've talked about, we're both wrestling fans.
Yeah.
If you ever watch the latest stuff that goes on with the WWE or some of the other promotions, these kind of panels, there's gaps between them. That is exactly how these things look and work. If you look at these things up close, they look like a cheese grater. And so that's all legit. Like, that all matches. That they still might be using particular lighting and a panel and stuff to give that effect, but that's all real. That's exactly what it would look like if you're the guy behind the scenes. Now, here's my question: the dude who now I found out is Robert Downey Jr.'s stand-in.
Yeah,
what is he doing? Who's that? What is he doing? What's his job?
I would assume that he's the one who is actually triggering the event. Like, so my thought is he's the guy who was actually running, like, when Justin says Air Force, he's the guy that goes Air Force and presses the button and brings them up and do, like, I think he was running the presentation for Hammer.
He's running he's not running the screens and the lighting and the sound.
No, I think that's part of it too. I mean, I think like when you do it, you take over and you're doing things. I think there probably was a Stark guy when Tony Stark was taking the stage at the beginning of the movie. I think there's probably a Stark person back there running it as well, because he wasn't cueing it. And you remember, like, like when the video came out, all that stuff, there's somebody backstage who's like, basically, like, he says, like, the person we need to talk to is my father, and then boom, he presses the button to play the video back from
right, of course, right.
Yeah. So I assume that whoever is sitting there is running the show, that, like, the presentation that's going on. And I would assume that he is a Hammer employee.
Okay, and the reason why I question that is because, normally, in theater production, those people are usually in the back of the audience area because they're seeing what is being seen, right?
Yeah.
But it's interesting that he's behind the screen, but again, because the way this is done, it's fine.
Yeah, and also because it's that pavilion, that outdoor thing. Like, I don't know that, because we see that there's not really a booth.
Right.
As we look out in the crowd, because it's
right.
This is built in as we find out, it wasn't not built in the 70s. It was actually built earlier than that. We'll find that out in the next minute. So like, it was, they didn't have any of that kind of stuff back then, because it's probably just someone on stage yelling really loudly.
Now, when you look at all this stuff as it pans and it's dark, so it's hard to see details and stuff.
Yeah.
Typical soundboard, control boards, obviously monitors, in a variety of things. There is a MacBook, which I thought was interesting. It's one of the few times you see an Apple.
Did you actually see the Apple? Like the Apple? Usually they cover up the logo.
No, this one it's actually on one of the back desks, and it's clearly a MacBook, which I was really surprised. Never noticed that before. Again, it has a really cool desk lamp that I would love to know what the desk lamp maker is, because it's really cool looking. But just, obviously all the AV production stuff that you normally wouldn't see, it's all behind the scenes. But here's my other question. Mm-hmm. The back wall of this backstage area looks like a planetarium. Why is that? What? I mean, what's going on? I don't understand.
I assume it has to be darkened like that because of the light. Like the light coming out forward.
No, but the it looks like a starry sky, and the stars are twinkling. And I'm totally like, that messed with me completely. I'm like, well, what? There's like a backstage to the backstage. What's going on here? Anyway, again, it's just things you pick up when you're looking at it like this.
Right.
I love overall that we get to see a little bit of the real true behind the stage area, and that's what this appears to be.
Yeah, so Jesse was running up to them too, and like I said, Jack's on the phone. So the technician says, the software's been overwritten. Justin says, what? What do you mean it's been overridden? What does that mean? And the technician says, I think he slaved the drones. Justin says, that's impossible. Call the guards. Like, the guards? Who were the guards? What guards are you calling? And Jack says, all the phones are down, sir. Which is interesting. Like, all the phones are down. So so he's trying to call back to... Oh, that's call the guard. I see. The call the guards mean you want to call the guards at Hammer.
Exactly right.
Yeah,
no, that's
the guards that I put in charge of. Yeah,
that's what he's. I was just gonna say that's what he's talking about. Yeah, right.
I'm an idiot, but I figured it out. Jack says all the phones are down, sir. He says, well, then call their cells. And he says their cell phones aren't working either, sir. And of course we know why. No, because they're swinging.
They're. Well, I won't say that. So anyway,
and now. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think a lot of times I've watched this scene, I thought it was like, oh, the everything's down here at Stark Expo. No, he's talking about Hammer, the Hammer headquarters, right? Because Ivan can't control the phones at the Stark Expo. Right. He's not into that system. It's the drones.
Yeah.
So a little interesting note on that. And then what's it, Jack? His assistant?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jack, super unhelpful.
Yeah.
It's
See, he's no Pepper Potts. Let's be honest.
No, he's not a Natasha either.
No. So we can say, so if you've been playing movie computer cliche bingo, I think you're about to have a winner because the technician says he's locked us out of the mainframe. Cha-ching!
Oh, not the mainframe. The mainframe.
Yeah. And then Pepper comes running in and says, "Who's locked you out of the mainframe?" Oh, the mainframe.
Because the mainframe's the main frame.
It's the frame. It's the main one.
That frames everything that's happening.
It's not a side frame. It's the main frame. Like, of all the frames, this is the one that you don't want to lose control of because it's the main frame.
I mean, it's okay.
Yeah.
Audience.
Out of the main frame. So then Justin's immediately trying to get rid of Pepper because he doesn't want to. Like, he still thinks. I love the fact that Justin Hammer thinks he can still salvage this. No, it's still fine. Like I can't let her know what's going on because I can still get out of this. It'll be fine. Please go away. I've got this handled. Pepper says, "Have you now?" Yes, I do. In fact, if your guy hadn't showed up, this wouldn't be happening. Your guy. So please now go away. Thank you. And then and he's like, well, I handled that. Good, she'll go now because I said that. So and so he turns back and he leans over to the technician, sort of whispers in his ear, and he said, and I'm thinking this probably had to be just a off the cuff thing because he says, listen, we gotta get these B words out there. Yeah. I don't think we can say it, but we gotta get these female dogs out of here. Yes. And then suddenly he feels a grip on the back of his neck, and he says, "What?" And Natasha has decided she's not going to play this Natalie role anymore, and grabs Justin Hammer, and as he's being manually manipulated, that's where our minute comes to an end.
We'll continue that conversation about that hold. But she's had enough. Yeah, everything's falling apart. Things have got to get fixed. I just want to say, it's kind of funny to see Justin Hammer, a character like him, just get completely desperate. And again, the nuance. There is a nuance in this performance of where he's go away, and he's doing it so theatrically with his hands, no, please just go away. Pretend like this is not. You haven't seen anything. You can leave now.
I'm a situation. I'm handling it. Please, I don't need you here right now.
Oh, it's so awesome. Good. Yes.
So that is the end of minute 98, and so we'll not find out what Justin impacts until minute 99. So you don't want to miss that.
So Kyle, we've seen all of this crazy behind the scenes technology and what goes on. If you want something, you want a behind the scenes conversation, you want to get really into the nitty gritty. I know we talk about Facebook every once in a while.
Sure.
But let's say you want to go beyond that. You want to get more into the
Facebook
details of this.
Facebook is on stage. We're on stage there too.
Thank you.
You want to go backstage, and so we had to find a place where we can talk about how the show actually gets put together, the wires and gears and how it all is. And the place that we do that is on Discord. We have our very own Discord server, and it is free to join. If you go to thenextreel.com and scroll down to the bottom to the Discord, click on that and join our Discord community. We have our own dedicated Marvel Movie Minute channel.
channel. I was going to say, I think it's channel.
I say it's because you have threads inside the channel. All right, so it's a channel, and then inside the channel are threads. Okay, got it. I work in computers. You can't know everything, folks. But we have we can talk about all sorts of stuff. We have sections for movies, for television, like whatever you want to talk. Even what's going on with the current disease that is ravaging our country. We have a section for that too, if that's what you want to talk about. But if you just want to talk Marvel stuff, we are there too. So Rob and I are both on there, along with the other members of the Next Reel shows. All the hosts are available as well, so you can talk to us about anything about about our favorite Marvel movements, about the show, about how we do it, whatever you want to talk about. We are available to you on Discord. So welcome, come join our Discord community. We would love to have you. So I'll be back here for minute 99, where we find out what's going to happen. We're going to find out a little history of this very building that they're in right now, and lots more action, because we are in full-on action mode now, too, as we're going back and forth. And, of course, plenty of Ivan, all the Ivan you could hope for. Minute 99. Enough said.
Bye.